So a lot of people make mistakes when they're going to sell software, and what it really comes down to is they don't know how to convey ultimately the value of the product or service that they're selling. And a lot of this really comes into what we call is what's the value pyramid? What am I providing to the customer? And to be a good salesperson, really to convey that value, it's a progression for how we communicate and really understand ourselves, what we're selling and what we're providing to the customer. So there's three stages to demonstrating a product to selling software. Three different tiers that most people fall into before they get good at selling software. And this value pyramid is really built on that. So the first stage, the first tier of that most people fall into is really talking about the product based on features. So this says features. And when you think about that, when you get into a bad demonstration of a product, you're talking to someone more junior, it's a feature conversation. When you get into a feature conversation, that's when you're saying, this button is blue. When you click this screen appears. When you do that, you receive an email. You're really at the very surface level talking about what does the product specifically do when I do these characteristics. You're not adding really much else to the conversation. Most feature conversations are brand new sales reps, brand new solutions engineers, someone who really shouldn't be selling the product, doesn't understand the purpose or the reason why this product exists as a whole. So these feature conversations, they don't really do much to move the needle. Now you need to understand, what does the product do? What happens when I click here, click there? But anyone can figure that out. If you sit a 5-year-old in front of a website, within 2 minutes they're gonna know, okay, when I click that, it takes me to this screen. Great. Doesn't do much for me, but that's what happens. That's what takes place. So that's kind of the first stage. This is at minimum what you need to avoid if you're trying to sell anything, is a feature-based conversation. The next tier is what I call kind of the function stage. So once you know the features, we then get into what function does this provide, right? So when we think about a pen or this marker, right? So a feature conversation is, there's a cap. It's a black pen. I can click the cap on it. Great. Well, what function does this pen provide to me? Same for software. What function does this? When I click this button, this is going to send an email so you know what's going on, right? So thinking about function over features, just that next level of that conversation. Still not where you want to be, but at least you understand why this cap is built to fit on the back of it so you don't lose it. That's a great function of this cap. It's more than just a feature that the cap exists and that it fits on it, but it's so you don't lose the cap once you put it on the pen or the marker here. So we're moving up that value chain from feature to what's this function. This is going to calculate the taxes on any given year for the assets that we're amortizing. I don't know, I don't speak accounting, but that's a function-based conversation. This is going to help you send out a privacy impact assessment to your team. They'll get an email, they'll be able to respond to it. These are all functions of the product that's being provided. So this is where a lot of people end up and kind of sit at when they're talking and selling software, is at this functional level. Where you really want to push towards is this top tier. So this top tier is a value-based conversation. When you start getting into value-based conversations, this is where you differentiate yourself. This is where you make your money. And if you're a sales rep, this is where you make a lot of money if you're good at it. So the feature is about this is a black pen, it has a lid, it clicks on it, the function, the lid's designed to not be lost when you're not using it. The value is this pen helps you express and streamline all your operations to really save time and make sure everyone's on the same page. Has nothing to do with the features of the pen, that it can write on a whiteboard, that it can be erased easily, but what does this pen allow you to do, ultimately help you achieve your goals? That's a value-based conversation. These value-based conversations is where you need to be. This is where you want to be in any given scenario. It's not terribly difficult to upgrade from a function-based conversation to value-based conversation, but you have to be mindful about it. You have to take your time and think about that. What value are you providing here? And then most people don't get to this level because they don't inherently understand the value of the product that they're selling. They are a feature-based seller. They are a function-based seller. When you are a feature-based seller, this is when you get into a pissing match with all of your competition. This is when your customers say, okay, what features do I get with your product versus my competitor's product? And they go line by line and say, hey, you're missing this feature, your competitor has this feature. You have this feature, the competitor doesn't have this feature. When you have those conversations, you're not differentiating yourself, you are setting yourself up to lose this opportunity because this button isn't blue and the customer likes a black button instead. There's no value there. There's nothing differentiating. You're in a race to the bottom for supporting the customer. And then once you're on a feature-based conversation, then it becomes dollars and cents. There's no bigger picture that you're providing. But if you're able to get to a value-based conversation and your competitor's a feature type seller, you're differentiated from the very beginning. You're looking to understand what is the business value. Why should someone invest their time and money into your software? Why should they roll this software out? What are they going to gain? What does this software allow me to do that I can't do today? And how's it going to help my career? When we think about the value that we're bringing to a customer, every customer has a professional goal they're trying to meet. Maybe they're trying to streamline their supply chain. And if they're able to do that in their stretch role, they're up for a bonus, a promotion. Well, our software has been known to help companies streamline their supply chain because of all these functions, these values that we're providing within the platform. Now you can make a business case for this solution rather than, it does the math. It has all the blue buttons that we like instead of the black buttons in a feature conversation. So really sit back when you're having these early conversations with customers and think about what value is this providing to me. I think a good example of how you apply this into an early stage idea or startup is listening to your customers as they repeat back to you what the solution does for them. How are they going to save time? So I'm currently working on a business idea with a friend. I have a whole blog post about what it is, what we're doing there, and maybe I'll make a video on that. If you'd be interested, let me know. I'll make something more in depth on the product. But it's a very simple solution, has 3 features, but the value is going to be saving the end user time. It's going to make a better interface for employees to interact. And that value is the conversation we're having, and we see traction with that conversation rather than it's a QR code, it's a feature. It brings me no value and I don't want to pay money for it because it's too simple. But when we start thinking of the value, how do we streamline? How do we increase ticket accuracy? How do we do all these things that are pain points for our customers through these value-based conversations? That's when you become a real differentiator. That's when you stand out from the crowd, and that's when you make this an uneven playing field with your competitors, and you have the upper hand. So that's really what we're trying to aim there get out of these feature-based conversations. At minimum, if you're brand new, start thinking about function, what's there. But where you need to move very quickly is a value-based conversation. So hopefully that helps. If you're in software sales, really in any kind of sales in general, you want to think about what is that value-based conversation. If you do not understand the value of your product, definitely look internally, talk to your senior leadership, and most importantly, listen to your clients. They will tell you if they see value and what that value is, and then use that in your future conversations and how you pitch and sell your products and services moving forward. So, in summary, feature. This pen is black, it has a lid, it clips onto it. This button takes me to this screen, it sends an email. A function-based conversation is this lid is designed to fit on the pen so you don't lose it. And it's an erasable marker. It's a great function of this pen. A value-based conversation is this pen helps you express ideas and get everyone on the same page in real time. The value of my software is it's going to streamline all the operations. This is how we streamline it. We can get into the metrics, but ultimately it's going to increase the ROI of your business. What is the value that we're going to bring to the table here? So think through that. Really look at how are you positioning, how are you pitching your products and services. If you are interested, I'd love to connect. Leave any comments, questions below. If you're working on a startup, I'd love to understand what that is. Just network. Really want to support that entrepreneurship community out there.